side of it. Stick laying in the middle of the prop up. I think you have to look down. Jim, supposedly we were live on YouTube at this time.
Oh, okay.
As a little alpha test, I didn't want to do as a demo for you.
Sure.
See what you thought of it. After about 36 hours, I put closed captions on the
Perfect.
Hi, Alan.
Mary, where did you find my name tag?
Dean found it. It was just up on that plastic thing, she said.
Oh, okay.
I went to go get it, and I said, are you looking for Jim's name tag? And I said, yeah. She said, I already found it.
Good, thank you. Oh, I didn't hear it.
message. Just on the edge. Barrington, yes.
are gold. They're just a little warm.
Yeah, no, we're not. Oh, yes. She probably did it. Which is great for her.
Beautiful night tonight.
Yeah.
I thought about like bringing my whole thing again, but yeah, how are you? There was no traffic. I was late.
There was traffic actually, it was brutal. It's really cool.
Maybe around schools or when school's in session, but optimist. Like, thank you. Thank you so, so much. Oh, you have one. Carl will be a blazer, so I decided I'd wear a blazer. Yeah. Exactly. What's your cute dress?
I'm not taking off.
Why? You're just.
I'm just setting the high bar. If you said you were
I was
competing,
doing
you
it
said
for
if you're
Carl.
gonna put a jacket on, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna keep this on.
What are you saying, Carl, that I have to build like a shower back here now, so after.
I just
Like
heard.
motorcyclists, they have heating.
Do they have that?
Yeah, they have like a heating pool. They press a button and like it heats up.
I just heard about the airbags for people, like they're going to put airbags in people's like hips and knees, like elderly people, so when they fall, it doesn't break.
I don't think I wanna, you know, that's.
That might be the next
That's
step.
not a big mass.
Exactly.
Hi, how are you?
Well, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Well, no. Ready?
Good evening. I'm calling this meeting of the Barrington Town Council to order at 6:34. That you remain standing for a moment of silence. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's first for the 20th anniversary of 9/11, which affected all of us in so many different ways. And also for the death of Sergeant Gino Caputo. Sergeant Caputo was a member of the Barrington Police Department for 27 years. The Barrington Police Department has lost one of its brothers, and the community of Barrington has lost one of her sons. Thank you. I now ask our town manager, Jim Cunha, to take us through the announcements.
Thank you, Mr. President. The library through the fall will be offering outdoor story times. They're also beginning to offer in-person classes on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. For more information and to register, go to the library's website at www.barringtonlibrary.org. If you notice coming in tonight, if you take a look at our flagpole for the month of September, flying below our national ensign is the Here to Serve flag. An update on the East Bay Bike Path. We're completing construction, or DOT is completing construction of the expanded sidewalks on either side of the bridge. We have the children, we have details out there protecting the children crossing County Road every day. We have to remain flexible as they continue to work through this, and we'll keep our town posted. For tree removal, it's calendar year, we've removed 83 trees and we planted 93 trees. And finally, for those that may be interested, Gina Caputo's funeral arrangements, visiting hours will be Wednesday from 4 to 7 at the Nardillo Funeral Home in Cranston. The funeral will be at the Holy Ghost Church on Knight Street in Providence, Thursday at 11 a.m. That's all I have, Mr. President.
We're taking something out of order today. One of our first responders with the flag is to remember just how much they do for us. The death of Gino Caputo sort of brings that out for us. But we also are frequently fortunate to hear about the work that they do, whether it's working with a disabled child and protecting them, or in this case, saving a life. This resolution that is in front of us, and if there are none, then I will ask that we meet and have the officers come forward. And seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'd ask that if you can just stand over where that empty microphone is. I'll just read this resolution. This is a resolution of the Barrington Town Council honoring Assistant Harbor Patrol Officers Michael Green and Steve Robbins. Whereas on June 20th, Harbor Patrol 2, commanded by Assistant Harbor Patrol Officers Michael, whereas Barrington Police Fire Dispatcher also received the following ominous information. 11-year-old Carly wearing a blue top and yellow bottom was drowning. And whereas Assistant Harbor Patrol Officers Green and Robbins were the first on the scene and immediately responded to the area of Connecticut Lighthouse, Lower Narragansett Bay, followed shortly by Warwick Marine 4, Warwick Marine 2, Warwick Marine 6, Providence Fire Marine, Cranston Fire Marine 2, East Greenwich Fire Marine, Warren Fire Marine, Bristol Marine 7, and 2 Coast Guard vessels and DEM vessels, which indicated the dire circumstances. And whereas Harbor Patrol officers Green and Robbins were alerted by bystanders on shore of a swimmer in distress and quickly began a search. Unidentified male who entered the water in attempt to render aid to yacht Sanchez, who unfortunately lost their lives. Now, therefore, be it resolved, had not for the quick response of Green and Robbins, 3 people would have died that day. Their life-saving actions and selflessness reflect the dedication to duty. Knowing that every second mattered and loss of life was at stake, they swiftly responded to the area and performed with valor. And now, therefore, be it further resolved that the Honorable Town Council for the Town of Barrington, State of Rhode Island, by virtue of the authority vested in them by the citizens on their behalf, extend to patrolmen, extend to the officers the gratitude of the Barrington community for their individual and collective efforts adopted by Barrington Town. The next items on our agenda are what we call the consent agenda. We will discuss and act on them as a group. These are a group that are usually considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There won't be a separate discussion on these items unless a town council member or citizen so requests, and the request is for good cause, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Does anyone from the council have anything they'd like to remove from the consent agenda?
Nations? I'm sorry, I'd like to remove reappointments. And I had a comment on resignations that I'd like to mention.
Sure.
At last week's Senior Services Advisory Board meeting, 2 members announced that they'd be resigning. I don't know if they've formally submitted anything to the town clerk's office yet. They have not, but that's just something for us to keep in mind a little later in the agenda when we're interviewing for that position.
Okay. Anything else on the agenda you'd like to remove? Anyone else on the council?
Mr. President, could I request that you remove item 13, the Class F license? That application has been withdrawn.
Sure. Does anyone from the audience want to remove any item from the agenda? Okay, seeing none. With the exceptions of items 6 and 13, do I hear a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Now we'll go to item 6, and this is reappointments. Councilor Breyer?
I'll be abstaining.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve reappointments to boards and committees as set forth in item 6?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions?
Aye.
1 abstention. That motion carries. Item 13 is a Class F license. We've learned, I think it was today or over the weekend, that St. Luke's Knights of Columbus are not going to seek a Class F license. Is that right? So we don't need to move that for passage. Next item on our agenda to discuss and act on interviews and appointments. We've already begun interviews for the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. We have 7
President?
vacancies remaining.
The solicitor and I both think that you did not vote on the consent agenda. We didn't think
Thought
you
we
did.
did.
I apologize.
Unanimous.
Yeah, we did. So for the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, we interviewed several people on July 26th, and we appointed a number, but we have, and in the interim, we will now move on to the remaining interviews and appoint the remaining members, and then we will then appoint a chair and a vice chair of this. So the first person to be interviewed is, we've already interviewed them, is Candace Bayer. Oh, she's withdrawn, I see. Jennifer Castell, please.
So much easier on Zoom. Do I sit here?
Please, yes, please tell us a little about yourself and what you hope to bring to the DEI committee.
Is the okay?
That's
What I hope to bring to the committee. I guess what I hope to bring first to the committee is my passion. And I feel like in everything I do in my job as a librarian at a local university, as an educator in the classroom, as a parent, as a friend, as a member of the community, I always strive for going beyond just this feeling of inclusion that everybody talks about to like true belonging. And the reason why I'm going for this to be a part of this committee is that I want to be a part of town where people come here and regardless of who they are, but especially if that they feel like not only are they welcomed, but that they belong here, which is so different from just feeling welcomed. So, and I could talk about that forever, but I am, as I said, I'm a librarian at a university in Providence, and so much of what being a librarian is a focus on equity. It's not just helping people find books. That's a part of it. It's also making sure that everybody who walks into the building and who we come across feels like they have been given the same service and access that everybody else has. That again, that they feel that they belong. And I also am a leader, and in the classroom, I work tirelessly to focus on making sure every student feels like their voice is heard. I am on the DEI committee at the university, along with administrators, other faculty and staff, and we've done programming. Of course, as a librarian, I am part of that, but and other ways to try to bring equity, inclusion, and a sense of belonging to the community there. So I also, where I have friends or...
No, I
Okay.
think unless anyone has any questions. So thank you for your willingness to serve. We're going to hear from the other folks, and then we will make our
Okay,
selections.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Candace Charpentier, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Charpentier. Please tell us a little about yourself and what you hope to bring to DEI committee.
Well, I'm a 9-year resident of Barrington. Anyone who's seen me before, especially when we were doing the board for the DEI commission, you know that I was reluctant to come of being racist and not very welcoming, which unfortunately, incidents have happened even in the past couple of years, and, very public incidents to kind of reverse that. What I want to do is be a part of making Barrington a place where, like Jenny said, where they feel comfortable. Any family moving here from anywhere, any social and economic status, and of any kind of ability, physical, mental, age, here. If you're putting down your money to buy a home here and send your children to school here, you should know that you have a place here. I would like to proudly say that I'm on the DEI school committee, and what we've done in the school systems, what Gina Bay has done, the books my children are reading, and the conversations that they're having. I'm looking at Barrington as a place to live, and she was told, hey, it's racist, you may not want to go there. I was able to counter that with, hey, this is what they're doing in schools. My kids are reading Kwame Alexander, this is amazing work. So, I always say, at least we're trying, and I'm really proud of that. So instead of like the shame that I kind of had earlier on, I think that, other communities aren't.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Good evening. If you could tell us a little about yourself and what you hope to bring.
Sure. My name's Andrew Simon. I've been in Barrington for 11 years. What brought me here was my job as pastor at St. James Lutheran Church here in town. Served in my time here with the Barrington Interfaith Clergy. I was the chair of that group for a while. Worked with Andy Klein from Temple Habonim, along with Trinky Bruckner on the book series, conversation series. St. James co-sponsors the Black Lives Matter Vigil, and the Barrington Interfaith Partners. We co-sponsored the Ibram X. Kendi event. A clergy person, probably the most, and I think that this is what a lot of the DEI work has to do, where it starts is in listening, across the board. I spoke to a buddy of mine when we were picking up the kids from school this afternoon and talking about what we were doing tonight. There's the opportunity to do some of that work for those whose bias says that Barrington is what it is, and this has always been this way, and this is what skills for listening and diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I appreciate you considering it.
The next person is withdrew. So we have interviewed all of the folks in the folks who are volunteering for this. This is going to be an important committee. I think we really, as a town, this is one of the issues that this is I would like to, of the people who we have interviewed, I would like to nominate Candace Charpentier as a member of the DEI committee.
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? That motion carries. Thank you. I should note we have 6 more nominees Um, 4 more will be full members, and then 2, do I have that right?
That's correct. You also need to decide who's going to have a 3-year term, who's going to have a 2, and who's going to have a 1. And last meeting, you decided that the 2 alternates would have a 2-year term.
Okay,
So as you get to the alternates, they're automatically a 2, but then you're going to have to divvy up the rest of the terms, term lengths.
okay. Okay, anyone else? Yes.
I'd like to make
Vice President.
like to make a nomination. I nominate Andrew Simon as a member of the DEI committee.
Second.
Seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And no abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you.
I would like to nominate Wafa Frage.
Is there a second? Motion does not carry. Yes, please.
I would like to nominate Jennifer Castell to be a member of the DEI committee.
Okay. That. Motion's been made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
I would like to make a nomination as well. I'd like to nominate A. Larry Barron to the DEI committee.
A. Larry Barron. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. I would like to nominate Rebecca Taub for the DEI committee. We interviewed her last time.
I will second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And no abstentions, the motion carries. So that's 1, 2.
The DEI committee.
Second.
Motion opposed, that motion carries. I'd like to nominate David Neal.
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries. So we have 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. So we have selected all of the members of the DEI committee, the ones who were selected last time, which are Stephen Felix, Liana Morris, and Braxton Medlin, and Glenmore Wagner. So, first things first, I'd like to nominate Braxton Medlin as president of the DEI committee, or as chair, excuse me. All those in favor?
Aye.
The vice chair of the DEI committee.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so now we have to decide 3 years, 2 years, and 1 year. Just suggest that the alternates, the last two people that we nominated were term. I'll make that as a motion.
Second.
Seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries. So Tanya Maselli and David Meal are our alternates with 2-year terms. Just to, so that we can explain what an alternate is. Alternates fully participate in all discussions. In the event that there is not a quorum, and typically, although not necessarily, typically, when someone leaves the committee, we usually sort of promote the alternate to full first alternate.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any motion carries. That would make David Meal the second alternate.
Can I just clarify understanding the alternates?
Sure.
It's, you had said if there isn't a quorum, but it's if all voting members aren't present, right? So if it's a committee of 7 and 6 are there, an alternate would vote.
That's correct. That's right. You're right. So it's actually, in this case, it's a committee of 9. So
Carol, I have a
Yes.
point of clarification as well. Did we previously say that the chair and vice chair would both have the 2 of the 3-year terms?
how many 3-year terms do we have? We have a little people. 4 3-year terms?
3-year terms.
Okay.
Or 3-year terms?
So that means last time are Stephen Felix and Glenmore Wagner. I would make a motion that Stephen Felix, Glenmore Wagner, Liana Maris, and Braxton Medlin each have 4-year terms, 3-year terms. And seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's okay.
I would like to make a motion that Candace Charpentier have a 3-year term to the DEI committee. I know that's splitting hairs but individually, I believe that Candace, with her experience, the DEI needs to lend, and I would hope that she would stay on for a significant time.
Despite voting aye on that last measure, I agree with you, and I would second that motion.
Okay, so we've already had a vote. We can always, Amy, we can always just have a vote to overrule our previous.
Add to change one of the 2-year terms to a 3-year term?
I'm not sure what that does. The staggered terms piece. Usually we try to set it up so there are staggered terms, so we're not doing 11 at once as we did in the first time.
But this would just be a change of one, so it's either 6 and 5 or 5 and 6.
No, it'd be 6 and 3 and 2. So Yeah, 6 and 3 and 2, and 3-year terms for others.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the 1-year terms.
Okay, so I'll take that as a motion
Yeah,
to,
Motion to change one of the 2-year terms to a 3-year term.
Second.
okay. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. To appoint Stephen Felix, Liana Maris, Braxton Medley to 3-year terms.
Second. Oh,
So
motion made.
moved.
Yes, so moved.
Second.
Move. Yes.
I
Vice
move-
President Hung.
I move to appoint Andrew Simon to one of the 2-year terms that's available.
Okay.
Second.